Welcome back to part 7 of my 7-part seller series. We have finally reached part 7, but we actually have a bonus episode coming next week where we're going to be talking all about seller myths and common seller questions. We're going to be talking about that in bonus episode 8. But today we are going to be talking about offer terms. You've done all the work, you've had all the showings, and now you've got an offer. What do you need to know? That's what we're talking about in today's video. Everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent and founder of the Caitlin Martin team, powered by 𝐋𝐈𝐊𝐄 Realtors, the Andrews Group. I specialize in working with savvy sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as working with out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. Now, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content, which is every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So in today's video, we are talking about offer. What offer terms do you need to look at? Now, of course, I'm going to be speaking specifically to Tennessee contracts. So if you're watching this from another state, of course, there may be some differences in terms of your contract, but this is what we look at when it comes to Tennessee. So you've gotten that offer and we are discussing it in terms of what are the terms. So let's talk about what are the various things that we need to look at. Of course, one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle is going to be purchase price. Where did that land? Did it come in at your purchase price? Did it come in below? Is it above? What does that look like? Of course, purchase price is going to be an important factor in this whole scenario. The other piece that we want to look at is going to be earnest money. A general rule of thumb in the Middle Tennessee area is that we want to see earnest money sitting right at that 1% mark. Now, if it's a multiple offer, we would love to see more than 1%, but generally less than 1% can be a bit of a red flag when looking at a contract. So we like to see earnest money sitting at about 1%. Next, we're looking at, is it a cash offer? Is it a financed offer? If it is financed, how much is financed? What kind of loan is it? Of course, if it's going to be a cash offer, that's going to limit the contingencies that are on the contract, which can be a great thing. It can feel more solid as a seller to accept a cash offer, but there can be, of course, some differences or some other terms that maybe may not be as favorable as, say, a financed offer. So, of course, we want to know, is it cash? If it's financed, how much is being financed? Of course, when you start to see 10, 15, 20% or more, that just shows that they're in a stronger financial position, which can help give you more confidence as a seller that the contract's gonna go through. Now, if you start to see a lower number, depending on what price point you're at, now, of course, if you're more at an entry-level price point as a seller and you see 5% or 3%, most of the times that's a first-time home buyer coming in, so that's completely understandable. Now, if you are at a higher price point, of course, you do want to start to see more of a higher down payment when it comes to just how much of that loan is being financed if it is a financed offer. The other things that we want to look at, what are the contract contingencies? Of course, inspection is written into our contracts. Do they want an inspection? If they do, how long is their inspection due diligence period? How long is the resolution period, which is where you have the opportunity to negotiate back and forth what those repairs will look like. So those are all things to look at. If they want something like a 30-day inspection window, that is wild. Here in Tennessee, we generally like to see somewhere between 7 to 14 days, 7 to 10 days. That shows it's stronger because if the offer is going to go through, most of the time, if an offer falls apart, if a contract falls apart, it's through the inspection period. So on the listing side as a seller, you like to see that inspection window shorter. So that means that if it's gonna fall out, it's gonna fall out sooner rather than later. You're not gonna waste a ton of time being off market before you go back on the market. So that's another piece of the puzzle to consider. Then if they're financed, do they have the appraisal contingency and financing contingency? If they do, those are standard with a financed offer. Now, back when our market was crazy and people were bidding so much over asking, if it was contingent still on appraisal, we need to see appraisal gap coverage. There's a lot that we've seen that's not necessarily as applicable now, and of course that's always on a case-by-case basis. But again, you want to know if it's financed, are they still making it contingent on appraisal and financing, which If they are making it contingent on that with a finance offer, that's still very standard. Also, do they have a home sale contingency? We've started to see some of those come back to the market. So if there is a home sale contingency, that's definitely a talking point to figure out how to best position you as a seller with a buyer that has a home sale contingency. There's a lot that goes into that piece of the conversation, but you are wanting to know, do the buyers have a home to sell, and do they have to sell that home in order to purchase your home? So that's another thing to know when looking at a contract. And then of course we want to look at title expenses. So title expenses in Tennessee prior to the market going crazy a couple of years ago, it was fairly standard for a seller to pay title expenses. However, we started to watch buyers take that on as a way to win multiple offers. It started to revert back to a seller. So that is another thing to just keep in mind. But who are they asking to pay title? Are they willing to pay title, or are they asking you to pay title? That's another piece of the puzzle to look at. And then, are there any special stipulations? This is typically where we'll see the home sale contingency, or are they making it contingent upon the spouse viewing the home? Special stipulations is something where it can be made contingent on a lot of things, or there can be other conditions put into the contract. It just depends, but when you're looking at a contract, you want to see, is there anything in the special stipulations box? And then of course, we're wanting to see, what's the closing date? When is that? Because in other states, I know that closing can be a fluid date, whereas here in the state of Tennessee, it is a contractually binding date. Now, of course, there can be amendments to move it if need be. However, it is contractual, so everything goes according to plan. You are closing on that day. So what does that closing look like? Is it a timeline that works for you? Would you rather counter back with a different close date that works best for you? We're taking a look at all of those things. So when it comes to the offer, those are the main pieces of the puzzle. And it's not to say that all of them are going to be bad. It's just these are the main points of what you want to know and consider when you're taking a look at what somebody has offered when it comes to purchasing your home. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this was part 7, but again, the contract part, there's several steps that happen once going under contract. But again, this is getting you all the way up to getting that offer accepted, because once you're under contract on the seller side, it's a far easier process. Of course, the buyer is going to be doing their inspection and their due diligence and things like that. But on the seller side, all the hard work is what leads you up to that offer. So if you are thinking about selling in the Middle Tennessee area and you want to learn more, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And as promised, we do have bonus episode number 8 coming next week, where we're talking all about seller common questions and also seller myths. So we're talking about that in bonus episode 8. But again, this concludes the 7-part seller series, and I hope you enjoyed. Again, my name is Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.